Good morning, my name's Freddy.
And I'm Jo.
And this is Good Morning Lancaster.
Hello and welcome. Today we are joined by May and Mars. If you'd like to introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Mars or Marceline. I'm the social secretary for the LGBTQ Forum.
Hi guys, I'm May and I am the president of the Kpop Society at Lancaster.
Great. Well, Mars, why don't we start off with you? Do you want to tell us a little bit about your role as social secretary?
So essentially the social secretary role is just kind of about bringing people together. Mainly I'm the event, with other social secretaries, but I'm also the main events planner of it. So most of the time we do coffee evenings, and that's the main focus of our society, is trying to bring people together in like a safe space environment. But we also do different events now and again throughout terms to try and get a wider audience, but to just people get sick of having coffee every week. So it's nice having a different change.
I definitely wouldn't get sick of having a coffee every week. I can barely function without one. So in terms of those events you've mentioned, do you want to give us some highlights of stuff you've done in the past?
So this week we did cookie decorating, and we've done like poster making, like films, like bar crawls, like just the casual average stuff. But we also do like some more of like activism type of things, like have people come in speak about like their experiences about being queer and things that have affected them. It's kind of like breathing new life into the society, I guess.
That's great. Well, do you have any kind of upcoming events that you'd like to speak about?
We've got a GM next week in some lecture that I couldn't remember. The week after that, we've actually got a film night. That's in the Info Lounge every Tuesday. That'll be actually good to come to. And we've got a bar crawl next week, and then 2 weeks after we have karaoke at County Bar.
Very fun. So if people wanted to kind of get involved with your society and what you do, how can they go about doing that?
Just message the Instagram, I guess, it's LGBTQ Lancaster or Lancaster LGBTQ, and you just come to the Sky Lounge every Tuesday. Just hang out with queer people. It's like we're free because we get paid by the LUSU anyway. So there's nothing like you have to do to join or anything. Just come over, show up, and just get involved, I guess.
Nice. So is that how you got your start in the society, or?
Yeah. I just messaged the Instagram and came to some events and stuff. And then after a while, when they started advertising roles and stuff, I was like, why not? I've got nothing else to do. May as well do it.
And then this month has been Queer History Month. So as a society, what kind of events have you been doing to kind of show Queer History Month on campus?
So we started with the poster making a few weeks ago, which we kind of advertised as like make a poster of any queer history or anything like you want to say out. We've put the posters around campus and like in art spaces and events and stuff. But we wanted to do two, but since the weather, we could only do one. We had a stall this week, at the farmers market, basically just showing off queer history, Lancaster queer history, and kind of the current things going on to make people aware.
That sounds really interesting. What kind of like people did you get coming to the stall, and what do you think that's done for your society?
Just kind of anyone at the farmers market showed up. So we've had like teachers, allies, people who come to our events, people who have never heard of us before, surprisingly. And then we've had just like a mixed bag of like everyone in between. People like wanting come up saying like, how can I be a better ally? How can I like support my queer friends? And how can I get involved, because this is something I'm interested in.
And I guess lastly, on like Queer History Month, I just wanted to know, who is your favourite queer historical figure, if you can think of one?
It'd have to be either Alan Turing or Oscar Wilde. since I do computer science, I'm a bit more biased to Alan Turing, but it'd probably be him due to it's just the revolution of like my industry by like such a leading queer figure. It's like important to me, I guess.
So we were actually lucky enough to interview Lily Emma, the LCO of the LGBTQ plus forum and stuff, and Jacob, one of the campaigns officers, and go and see the stall. So let's have a look at that.
Hello, I'm Emma, and I'm joined with Lily Emma from the LCO of the Students' Union. So, tell me a bit about your role.
Thanks so much for having me. So I'm the Liberation and Campaigns Officer in LUSU, and essentially what my role is I represent the voices of all LGBTQIA plus students in the Students' Union, but also in the university as well. Aside from that, I'm a postgraduate student. I'm studying clinical research in the School of Medicine, and touch wood, I am looking to do a PhD, and my PhD will be focusing on geographical inequalities of care for transgender plus adults.
Oh wow, that's amazing, thank you. So as it's Queer History Month, could you tell us a bit about the importance of that?
At the moment, it's a really tough time for the LGBTQIA plus community around the world, but in Britain particularly. And History Month is about celebrating where we've come from. It's about recognising the stories of the people that came before us and using those stories to drive change in the future. So there's a great film called Pride, which I really recommend people watch if they haven't seen it already. But essentially Pride is about how the LGBTQIA plus community at the time supported miners during the miners' strikes, and then later on, spoilers, how the miners then supported the LGBTQIA plus community. And kind of the story of that film is really about empowering marginalised communities, empowering those that struggle to have their voices heard, and working together, collaborating to achieve change. And that's what we're trying to do in LUSU. That's what we're trying to do in the LGBTQIA plus forum.
That's perfect, because I was just about to ask you, what are you trying to achieve?
So at the moment, it's really about modernising, reforming, and making the forum a more inclusive space for all LGBTQIA plus students. At the moment, we have some fantastic events. We have a really amazing team, an exec team, with our social secretaries, our campaigns officers, everyone working together to deliver some events. So this Thursday, we've got a market stall square where we're in the farmers market, where we're going to be kind of promoting and raising awareness about some really important queer history stories, some important figures in queer history, and kind of linking it into the campaigns that we're pushing for within the university. So, as I mentioned, we're looking at modernising and reforming the forum. So we're moving away from the name forum. I know, huge change, and this is kind of the first that people will be hearing about it, actually.
Why is that?
So the word forum is a really historic word. So I was here as an undergraduate student in 2015 to 2018, and the word forum was used at that stage. And it kind of, the word came about, or the name came about, because it was a platform for marginalised communities or marginalised students to have their voices heard. But you know what? The LGBTQIA plus forum is more than that. We're a community. And so as a community, we came together and decided we want to drop the forum name and we want to go with embracing community. So we're going to be the LGBTQIA plus community. And we're recognising that we want to celebrate queer voices on campus. We want to empower queer students on campus. And so we're going to do that by improving, as I say, representation. And so we're going to have the LGBTQIA plus community, and we'll host events, and we'll have an exec team, very much like the forum. And then within that, we're going to have some networks. So there'll be the Trans Plus network for Trans Plus students. There will be the Health and Medicine network for health and medicine students who identify with one of the LGBTQIA plus characteristics. There will be a sports kind of network. And so we're trying to create new opportunities for queer students that weren't there previously, because we found that although we have a strong turnout in our events, and they are fun events. You know, if you've not come across to a coffee evening before, come to a coffee evening, because, you know, the coffee evenings are so much fun. A whole diversity of activities going on. It's amazing work by our social secretaries. But we've noticed that, you know, there's a lot of students who have sports commitments who are unable to make our coffee evenings. And that's why we thought, right, well, we need to create a sports network where the students who are sports players and who identify as LGBTQIA+, they have a space where they can create their own events. And we, as the community, will support them to facilitate those opportunities on campus, but they can do it within their timetable. Because at the moment, we're trying to do it, and, you know, none of us on the exec are sports players. We don't know when the matches are going to be. And so it's about creating these networks, empowering the coordinators of these networks and empowering the student volunteers, supporting them, empowering them to host and facilitate their own social opportunities, thereby creating new opportunities across campus.
Wow, that's amazing. It sounds like there's loads going on at the moment then. But specifically, what are you doing at the farmers market to achieve this?
So the farmers market is about raising awareness of, as I say, the stories and the key figures in queer history that kind of came before us. So we're going to have a stall. It's going to have Lusu branding, and we're going to be there with some posters about kind of just raising awareness, as I say, about stories like the miners, like the Welsh miners, and just getting people talking about queer history. And then we're going to be we'll have some leaflets promoting the work we're doing as a community, and just kind of raising awareness, as I say, of the opportunities on campus.
I think that's everything we've covered today. Thank you so much for coming and speaking to me, and I hope it all goes well.
Great, thanks so much. It's been great to join Clifford as well.
So, we're joined by the LGBTQ Forum's campaigns officer, Jacob. So, yeah, did you want to sort of introduce yourself and what you do in the forum?
Yeah, sure. So, my name is Jacob. My pronouns are he, him. I am one of the 2 campaigns officers that we've got on the forum. I organise a majority of the campaigns that we run throughout the year and generally just get things put together.
Yeah, and so you spoke of the campaigns. What are sort of the current and sort of upcoming campaigns that the forum's got planned?
So the current campaign, the most soonest one, is we're having a stall at the farmers market for Queer History Month, which spanned all of February. And albeit it is a little bit late, but I think it's still important to show the visibility of queer people, especially towards the kind of tail end of Queer History Month when people aren't celebrating it as much. And we've got some future things planned for several of the awareness days that are happening throughout the year. And I know that my fellow campaigns officer has a really good ongoing running campaign going, but I won't spoil anything in case he wants to say something at some point.
Yeah, and you mentioned Queer History Month as well. What is sort of the importance both to you and sort of in general to the wider queer community of Queer History Month?
So I think for me, I'm a big history nerd. And I think that Queer History Month is so important because queer people have been erased throughout history since we've existed. And knowing that there always have been queer people, there always will continue to be queer people, and that we've always been here and that we're not going anywhere is definitely a really important aspect of it. And celebrating the culture, queer culture, and knowing the roots of where we've come from and how we can continue that movement is really important to me as well. And I'm sure it's the same for a lot of other queer folk who see people, like queer people who were born in the 1900s, and it creates kind of a really hopeful feeling of they managed to survive in those times when homophobia and transphobia were so rampant. And we can do that too.
Yeah, definitely. And it's, extraordinarily important. And you mentioned obviously raising awareness. Is there anything in particular you're going to be sort of raising awareness of, or anything in particular you're highlighting with the stall at the farmers market tomorrow?
Well, the main thing we're going to highlight is queer historical figures, many of which are lesser known to the wider community, but I'm sure most people will recognize some, and talking also about the queer history in Lancashire, because Lancashire and Lancaster University back in the 1970s and 1980s used to be called the Queer University because of how many queer people attended and how many queer movements were started here. And just being able to highlight that and show the people that they belong to a community that was built by queer people.
Yeah, definitely. And what are the sort of main things that you really want to achieve as campaigns officer for the rest of the time that you are sort of as campaigns officer? I mean, hopefully you'll rerun, because I personally, I'm not biased at all, but personally I think you're great at it.
Well, thank you very much. The main thing I really want to achieve is visibility, is for the wider university community to know that queer people are here, and for some LGBT people who are not as involved within the forum to see that we're very accepting, we're very welcoming, we're all very sweet and kind and nice and every other good thing you can say about a person. And also to show support to people, to let people know that there's always a shoulder that they can lean on, and to make our voices a bit louder than they have been in the past. Not necessarily intrusive or invasive in any way, but just to let people know loudly that we're here and that we're here to stay.
And finally, is there anything else that you sort of wanted to highlight in this, sort of either about Queer History Month or sort of about the forum, or I think it's now going to be renamed the LGBTQA plus community, I think, is part of, I think Lily Emma mentioned that in the interview that she did. So is there anything else you sort of wanted to really highlight the importance of whilst we've got the cameras?
Since you've mentioned community, I think that highlighting the importance of the community is so crucial to what we do, because I feel like we don't do as much as we could be doing as a community. Like, we've got the coffee evening that runs every Tuesday 6 to 8 in the info lab, but there's other things we could be doing to sort of engage with other queer members of the university. I was thinking about running a couple of campaigns that are like based on skill sharing, talking about our experiences, getting to know other people, building support systems, and I think that that's especially important in a time like this where there is a lot of social and political strife against queer people. It's important to know that we've got the community here, you know?
Yeah, no, I definitely agree, and I think I can say on behalf of everyone, all of the queer community at Lancaster, that I think that's a really, really great initiative, and I look forward to seeing the fruits of your labour.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you ever so much for coming on.
Absolutely, it was great.
Yeah, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I really liked hearing about the transition from forum to community. Kind of, what do you think about that change?
I mean, it's like a better change for the future, because when you hear the word like forum, it's like it's a bit bureaucratic. It's a bit, I've got to go the forum. It's this, whereas the community, it's represents what we are. Like, we're a community of people. It's a bit more like friendlier, and I guess like it's like removes like the dismissal of, oh, it's a forum, it's not something like a part of the society, it's not a society or anything, it's something else. Whereas a community is like, it brings people together, and that's what we basically aim to do, like bring people together.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that sort of sentiment. Now, May, moving on to you, why don't you tell us a little bit about the Kpop Society as a whole, and maybe a little bit about your role, what you sort of do as a member?
Yeah, so I'm the president of the Kpop Society. So at Kpop Society, obviously, it's all about K-pop, including the name. So we run events twice a week. So we have an event on Thursday, which is like an activity event. So we have crafts, games nights. Recently did like Mario Kart. Pretty much anything we can think to put on, we'll do. It's not always exactly K-pop related. A lot of the times it's just like get people together, talk about their interests, have a bit of fun. And then Saturdays we have dance classes. They run every week, and they're taught by our dance coordinators. But yeah, so yeah, I'm the president, so I kind of oversee everything, make sure everything goes smoothly. I have 7 other executives, so they help me out. Yeah, it's great.
So speaking of past events, I mean, you mentioned some of them there, like you mentioned you did the Mario Kart event. Are there any kind of particular highlights that spring to mind when you think of events you've done in the past?
Ooh, probably one of my favorite ones was last year. We went to Manchester. So we organised a day trip. We went on the coach. We went to, there's a K-pop store in Manchester called K-Stars. So we took them there. And then we went to a karaoke venue. So there's like a Korean karaoke bar in Manchester. And we had this like huge karaoke party with like free drinks. And that was a lot of fun. Some people did. There was a lot of Pitbull, which was kind of surprising considering it was a K-pop event and the songs that were sang the most were Pitbull. And then we also went to a restaurant in the evening. So yeah, that was probably one of my most memorable days, I think. So yeah.
Well, they do call him Mr. Worldwide for a reason. So do you have any other upcoming big events that you'd like to mention while you're here?
We don't have many massive events coming up. The biggest thing we have coming up at the minute is that we've got a competition that we're attending in a couple weeks' time. So we have our own competition teams, and there's going to be a national K-pop dance competition in London, which is hosted by King's College London. So I think there's 17 other universities attending. So yeah, it's quite a big deal. So it's our first time going to a competition. So yeah, nervous but excited.
I mean, I can definitely see why if there's so many other people attending. So what about how people can kind of get involved? What can they do if they wanted to join or to come along to a few events?
So they could kind of just turn up. We have a membership fee, which is £7 for the whole year. So it's kind of a bargain. And that gets you into everything. So that lets you come to our Thursday events, our dance classes. It lets you be involved. We also have other than our competition team, we have cover groups that perform at events as well, so it lets you join in with them as well as be part of the competition team in future years. £7 for the whole year. If you want to just try it out, then we have a non-membership fee of £2 per event. So yeah, there's lots of opportunities to get involved. We're very friendly. There's no pressure to come to every single event. Just turn up, chill with us. It's a lot of fun. So yeah.
I'm quite curious to hear a bit more about the dance side of the Kpop Society and kind of how did that develop from the society as a whole, or has it been going the whole time?
It hasn't been going the whole time, actually. So I've been doing this 2 years. Before I started, dance wasn't a thing that we did, but there was a lot of people that showed interest in it. So when I came in, I was very fortunate to have one of our other execs be very into dance and learns all the K-pop dances and was happy to teach. So we kind of like sat in a meeting one day and it was like very like someone just like randomly brought up like, oh, what about if we do dance class? And I was like at that point I didn't even know that was something that we could do, and I was like, well, can we? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, yeah. And then a week later we had our first dance class, and yeah, now it became a thing. Last year we had a dance team as well, which was the first time we had something like that. We went to a couple performances and we found that we were quite popular for events. So we carried it on this year. We've kind of started structuring it a bit more. So we have dance classes, rehearsals. We have 2 dance coordinators now who run the competition teams and stuff. So yeah, it's developed very fast, but it's definitely one of the most popular things we do. So yeah.
Did you say you've got 2 dance teams?
We actually have in the competition team we have 3 separate teams.
Wow.
So the way that K-pop competitions work is that you have a girl group team, so they dance to girl group songs. Then we have a boy group team that dance to boy group songs, and then we also have a wildcard team who they don't dance to K-pop songs, but it's all they'll perform choreographies by Korean choreographers. So yes, we have them, and then we also, outside the competition team, we have what's called the cover team. So they'll learn like full dance covers of K-pop groups, and then that's who we take to performances at the university. So yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Very, very detailed and exciting, and like crazy that it's popped up and done so well.
Yeah.
And I guess kind of the last question that I'm sure our viewers are very excited to hear: who is your bias?
Well, it depends. what group you asked me about. So I have two favorite groups. So my favorite boy group is NCT, and my bias is Utah. And then my favorite girl group is Everglow, and my bias is Mia. So yeah, check them out if you haven't heard of them. Their music's very good. Well, it's a little bit, NCT's is a little bit subjective. So yeah, but check it out.
Well, moving from K-pop to co-ops, recently we did an interview with one of the directors of the Lancaster Music Cooperative about an event he's running, if you're watching this live, later today at the pub in Lancaster, and I believe we have a clip of that interview to show you now. Hello and welcome to LA1 TV. My name's Freddy and we're here with Derek from the Lancaster Music Cooperative. Now, do you want to tell us a little bit of backstory about the music co-op and what you sort of do?
Yeah. So the music co-op was started, this is our 40th year anniversary this year. It was started by a group of students from Lancaster University because they found that they didn't have anywhere in town to practice music. So they got this old building and kind of built rehearsal studios and a recording studio in it, just so that they had somewhere to go really. And over the years, it's just kind of built into this huge community hub, and it's been used every day for the last 40 years up until about 5 years ago, which sadly it got closed down during the COVID lockdowns because the building was in such a bad state of repair. So we've been raising money and we've been working with a building company and a design team and everything, and we're in the process of getting it back open as a fancy new shiny studio. So yeah, we're just kind of trying to raise awareness and funds to get the building project done, and we're fingers crossed hoping that we'll be able to be open by the end of this year to mark the 40th anniversary.
Definitely, that'd be brilliant. It sounds like the kind of place which would be really nice to have back in Lancaster. So what's your actual role within the cooperative? What do you spend most of your time doing?
So I'm one of the team of directors, so we're all involved in kind of liaison with the design team and all of that kind of stuff, and the builders and things. And I also more specifically do the kind of community outreach stuff, so I organise and promote all of the events that we have and fundraising events and things like that. So that's my kind of main role really.
Nice. So you mentioned that you were fundraising to kind of get the building back up to standard. So what are the more kind of specific goals of that? Is there a certain sort of figure you're trying to reach in terms of raising money, or?
So we received quite a lot of money from the city council, which we're very grateful for, and the Heritage Action Zone Fund, which is part of English Heritage, and the UK Shared Prosperity Fund, and the Community Ownership Fund. So we have raised quite a lot of money already, which has enabled us to fix the outside of the building and make a decent start in building the actual rooms inside. But we're kind of looking to try and hopefully raise another £300,000 to £400,000 to finish it off to the highest possible spec that we can do really. So that's our kind of aim.
Yeah, definitely a big goal then, but I'm sure with the kind of local culture and community, then hopefully there'll be people want to.
Yeah, and we're constantly kind of applying to different funding bodies and things like that, so hopefully some of those things will come through. And we're actually in the process of launching a community ownership thing, which would mean that people can buy shares in the co-op, not just the building, but in the co-op, so then they will be able to have a say about what happens with it in future and things.
That's great. So is it sort of going to be an area for small local bands to kind of give them a bit of a foothold in the local area? Or?
Absolutely, yeah. I think that's always what it has been. It's just been for anyone who wants somewhere to go and make music. I think Lancaster's pretty incredible for. It's a relatively small city, but there's a huge music scene, and there's just not really anywhere currently that it's that accessible to go and practice. So the idea is just to have 4 rehearsal rooms with all the gear set up, so you just pay by the hour, come in, you don't have to load in lots of gear or anything like that. So yeah, it would be great for young people who just want to get into music or more established bands. But yeah, we're hoping to make it as accessible to anyone who wants to come and use it.
That's great. Well, speaking of local bands, in this very room actually a few weeks ago, we did a live lounge with a local band called The Shoestring. So I believe you are who you have helping you with a fundraiser over the next couple of weeks.
I believe they have now changed their name to Disc Jockey, though.
Have they? Okay, that's news to me, but I'll bear that in
Yeah,
mind.
well, they only told us after we'd printed all the posters off as well.
Hopefully.
But yeah, we've got so we run we do occasional big events at Cantina in Lancaster. We did one recently as part of Independent Venue Week, but we also run a monthly club night upstairs at the pub in China Street in town, where we try to get 3 local, well, sometimes we have an out of town band, but it's usually 3 local bands playing on the last Friday of every month. It's free entry, and it's just a great way of celebrating all of the great music that's been made in town, really.
That's great. And you said that was this coming Friday, so the 28th of February?
Yeah, so the next one's 28th, and then after that it's the last Friday of every month.
So do you have any other upcoming events that you wanted to tell us about, or is it just mainly this one on Friday?
Well, we do it the last Friday of every month, so yeah, I guess the best thing for people to do is, if they like the idea of it, just keep an eye on all our social media platforms, and we announce the bands kind of the start of each month, and then they're on the last Friday. We're working on a few other things, hopefully with Cantina again, but nothing that we can kind of promote at the minute. And another thing we've been working on is, because sadly, I don't know if you know, but the Lancaster Music Festival is not happening this year. They're taking a break this year. So we're hoping that the Music Co-op can put on a kind of alternative festival on the same weekend. So, but like I say, if people are interested in what we're doing and want to see some great music, just keep an eye on our social media.
Definitely a shame the music festival is not going ahead, but if it gives you a chance to run your own sort of alternative one, that would be a sort of great compromise, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're just a team of volunteers, and I think it's just been a bit overwhelming, really. It must take so much time and effort for them to organise it, because it's a huge event. So we're definitely not trying to do anything to replace it. We just thought it might be good to do something
While they're taking a break.
Yeah.
So if people wanted to keep an eye on your socials and things, where can they find you? On Facebook, Instagram, that sort of thing?
Facebook, yep, and Instagram, and our website is lancastermusiccoop.co.uk. We've actually just launched quite an exciting thing today on our website, is a band directory, where we're asking people to fill in the form online. You can post photos, links to your music, videos and things like that, and we're hoping to build up a huge directory of all the people making music in Lancaster, and hopefully that will lead to them getting gigs and all of that kind of stuff. So if you're in a band, then give that a look as well, please.
That's brilliant. Hopefully anyone in a band listening will definitely think of doing so. So in terms of the social medias, what would that be on Instagram and Facebook? What's your...
It's just Lancaster Music Co-op, I think is the handle on both of them, so it should be easy enough to find.
All right, perfect. Yeah, can't imagine there's too many other people with the same name.
Niche, yeah.
Anyway, well, thank you so much for coming on. This has been a really interesting interview, and I hope people watching live will have enjoyed hearing a bit more about the Co-op in general. And yeah, hopefully we've got some more people to come along to your event on Friday.
Yeah, we'll hopefully see some of you there.
I don't know if you could notice there, I was really distracted during that interview because he looked slightly like Will Ferrell. So about that Music Co-op event, do either of you think you'll be going along to that?
Probably, since it's today and I've now had 6 hours notice till it. Probably not, but I might check out next month's one.
My dissertation's due very soon, so definitely not.
Priorities in order, at least. So have you heard of the Lancaster Music Co-op before, or is that sort of the first you're hearing about it?
It's definitely the first I've heard about it. I have heard of a lot of the bands in Lancaster and a lot of the music scene, but I didn't hear of the Co-op before just then, so yeah.
I would say that's basically the same. I've seen the posters for it, but besides hearing the actual thing, that's the first time I've seen it.
Yeah, I feel like the Lancaster Music Co-op, they're very community-based and all about uplifting community voices. And I feel like your societies are also about community and stuff. So I was just wondering what you kind of thought the importance of having these communities on campus and in Lancaster is?
Well, I think it is very important because speaking from like personally, I mean, every single one of my friends I've made through my own society, Kpop Society, and it was where I found my closest friends. And that was really is what's made my time at Lancaster. No offense to my degree and my department, but I do much prefer my social life over my degree. And I think not having those communities, it can really have an impact on how people enjoy their time at university. Obviously, people's degrees are very stressful. There's a lot of work, and it's like very easy to get kind of down and over focused on the grades and stuff, when really like there's a lot more about to university and to life in general than just your degree. So yeah.
Say this basically the same, but since I'm in now something called the community, I think it's an important like thing to foster, especially because we're all people at the end of the day, and yeah, we're here for do education and stuff, but that's not the whole sole focus of everything. We need like a space, like a third place essentially, to get away from university work, and having a community like focus there is basically important to have that, I guess.
Yeah, I think we definitely also have it in the student media community, very tight-knit and lots going on. And I just wanted to know, have you guys heard of Taskmaster / watched it?
I have never seen it in my life.
I also have not watched it, but I do know of it, and I have a lot of friends that are very into it, so yeah.
Well, last year, LA1 TV, we did a version of Taskmaster with the people from Lusu, and we've got a clip of our episode 2.
This is Taskmaster, and I'm your host, Sophie McIntyre, and I will be challenging 6 fearless FDOs to a series of trials and tribulations in order to win the glory of Taskmaster, while earning my respect and losing their dignity.
Hey, beautiful queen. Oh, God.
Hello, Sam.
Okay.
Can you open the task, please?
They smell interesting. Oh, no. Identify the ingredients in these smoothies. Most correct ingredients identified wins. You have 10 minutes. I hate you.
You expect me to drink that?
I think. Oh, Jesus. Vimto. Oh.
It's very thick. Oh, it smells fruity, okay. Pineapple, orange, and potato? Oh no.
This one's gonna be gross. Biscoff. This is like strongly smelling of Biscoff. Oh wait, maybe I should.
Yes. Is this another one of them?
No, that's just water in case you want it.
That's so foul.
Okay, I'm like the pickiest eater ever, so I'd like have like no ingredients in my food. So this is like, I'm so bad for this.
That's Marmite. There's Marmite in this. How do I?
Some mixture of vegetables. Oh, so grim.
I could be dying right now. You could be killing me.
It's so foul. Again, that might be just like someone's like nice drink.
This is soy sauce of some sort. Oh God. Oh, 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 oh. No, 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 no. No like it, no latte. No, 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 no. Want a taste?
Yeah, like so like garlic, ginger, cinnamon, like typical like seasoning things. It smells like your average stock cube. What should be like an orange smoothie or something? I'm just an idiot. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go with those for that.
No. I feel defeated. This task has defeated me. Right. This is either Biscoff or Biscoff hot chocolate. This made me hate myself. This made me regret doing this. Not gonna lie. This made me regret being born. But it's got soy sauce in it.
I might take this one away from me. This one's genuinely quite nice.
Oh.
And then you spell it. God. I just had dinner. Like I said, unpalatable, barely palatable. I don't know what's in my mouth with that one. That's just like drinking baked beans, which isn't great, but it's not that. And then this is lovely.
Okay. That's a lot to digest.
Yes.
All right.
So, I think I might go smoothie by smoothie and say what everyone guessed, and then say what they were.
Can we just say it was so bad? I want to know what you put in it because it activated your gag reflex.
I mean, guys, if you're quiet, Micah will tell you.
It turned me northern. It turned me back to my heritage.
Yeah, that was weird. It was like you had been possessed for a minute.
My favourite thing though is that we mentioned this. Harrison has the blandest food taste.
That man eats chicken nuggets and cheese sandwiches.
It seemed like he was trying not to offend us by what he was saying.
Maybe this is someone's idea of a nice drink.
I think though, like, surely you must know. Again, I don't know how this man is at uni. Because surely you must know that we are going to give you something foul.
I was awful.
So, Jack had the most ingredients correct.
Well done, Jack.
So, got 6 points for Jack.
Are you glad you drank all those for 6 points?
Moist.
Yeah, you did a little loop.
Yeah.
I came up with so much of a noise.
It's a lovely noise.
Josh's getting 1 point.
Thank you.
Shush. No, you have no authority here. Josh has 1 point because we didn't give him a Smith bucket, and that poor man had to swallow everything. And even I have a heart now and then. Shall we move on to the next one?
Harrison's still on.
Oh yeah, Harrison is just not doing well. Harrison
I'm
does.
rooting for him now.
I beg, please can we ask him how many points you think he got in total?
Yeah.
That's so mean.
Can we ask?
No, that's so funny.
Next one?
Yes, roll the clip, please.
I don't know what this is, but this looks cool.
Build a parachute for this egg.
Guys, this is such a cool task. No, okay, no, I'm like dead excited. Besties, help me! Camera people, you exist, you have voices, free yourselves! Oh. Honestly, you try and collaborate with the camera besties and they just don't let you.
Oh, my hands are too big. Oh no!
Do you feel your competitors with smaller hands are at an advantage?
Yeah, the hand size. You know, people don't talk about it much, but Pringles that's the way you really suffer.
As long as I come first, I don't really care. 1, go! That definitely broke the egg. So the egg might have been broken.
Okay, I'm going to deploy my safety line. Oh, this has not gone well. Go. That didn't go too well.
Wait, can I use anything?
Yeah.
Shit! Fuck, we're going to Spa. Come on, Spa, come on.
Okay. Sam, you should know I don't even run for buses, so...
My pants are falling down, so...
That's a you problem.
Are we just dropping it? Or can we throw it?
Da 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 da. Ow!
10 seconds.
Okay. Go.
I think the egg broke.
Go. Oh no.
There's been a casualty.
I feel like I need to dock points for horrific egg jokes.
I made 0.
That's because they're not creative.
Anyway, so you didn't drop yours though. You lowered yours. So guess what you get?
No pot.
Exactly. Anyway, yeah, this has not been good for many of you at all.
I'm sorry, but then Kerry's the only one who gets points because everyone else's egg cracked.
I will say, Santi have 2 points, I think.
2 points?
Yeah, because it was cracked, but it wasn't splatter.
Right.
That's
No.
Everyone else
Surely
is
6 and 5. Surely 6 and 5. Like, come on now.
My ruling for you, because you didn't cut the safety, is you get 5.
Okay, real.
Yeah.
Okay.
5 and 2. None of you completed that properly.
Harrison's had ingenuity.
Yeah, but
Why are we trying to like root for Harrison? Like,
The man has no point.
Exactly. Let's keep it that way.
Yeah.
Literally keep
Harrison, I am genuinely concerned about.
Harrison found the perfect thing to make a parachute with.
Yeah, he actually found
And
parachute
then
material.
at the last minute went, no, I'm just going to throw it like a frisbee.
And then didn't secure the egg and thought, I know, the egg needs to hit the ground with a higher impact. That'll
give him less points.
Well, I hope you enjoy that little teaser of episode 2. Episodes 1 and 2 are out on our YouTube right now, so after you've watched this, go and check it out. It was such fun to film, and really excited about that.
I just wish I'd been there to help with the filming. It did look fun. Well, thank you so much to our brilliant guests, Mars and May. I'm loving the alliteration of the names as well. Thank you so much for coming on. Was there anything else you wanted to mention or plug before we finish this episode?
Probably just the Instagram, so LGBTQ Lancaster, or Lancaster LGBTQ, I can't remember. And Sky Lounge Tuesday, 6 till 8, coffee evening, be there.
Probably just our social medias as well. So we have our Instagram, which is LU Kpop Sock, so LU Kpop SOC. And then we have our TikTok as well, which is LUKpop.sock. And then we also have a YouTube channel, which if you just search Lancaster University Kpop Society, you can see our previous covers and performances on there.
Well, I am afraid that is all we have time for. I've been Freddy.
I've been Joe.
And this has been
Good Morning Lancaster.